Joining me now, Kansas Senator and Small Business Committee member Roger Marshall. Senator, great to see you this morning. This is just a joke. It's a grift from the progressives. They want to keep their wish list in there, but just cut the short-term price tag. We all know that they will never be able to get rid of this vast entitlement expansion if any of it gets through.
Yeah, you're right, Dagan. Good morning to you. Yeah, at the end of the day, this will be a $7.5 trillion of government spending over the next 10 years. The fight in Washington, D.C. right now is this. Do we want big government socialism or do we want economic freedom? That's what really this fight is all about. Once they start these programs, they'll never end. There's going to be all sorts of budget gymnastics going on, but at the end of the day, this is about economic freedom versus big government socialism.
Inflation is hurting every American who has to live their lives on a budget. It is making America poorer. So is this the death of this spending spree that the left has been talking about? And it's not just the progressives. 48 out of the 50 Democratic senators are in favor of this. In favor of this socialist expansion. I call it new century welfare monstrosity. But 48 of them, that's 96% of the Democrats in the Senate are in favor of it. So it's not just a sliver or a soupçon of the Democratic Party that wants this. If you're looking at the Senate, it's almost the whole of the party.
Yeah, Dagan, if my town halls are any indication of where America is, America does not want this spending. People are not only mad, they're now panicked about inflation. And this big spending and more borrowing is only going to add to inflation. And what President Biden is doing, his policies to make the labor shortage worse, is only going to drive this inflation up more. But you're absolutely right. Everybody is now feeling the sting at the gas pump, at the grocery store. Inflation is absolutely a top issue on the hearts and minds of Americans across the nation.
Brian Bremberg, jump in.
Yeah, Senator, so the Democrats bought some time on the debt ceiling. They pushed it back to December, so we're not going to have that crisis immediately, I guess. But I look at this and say, well, now they've got, a month plus to spend time pulling their coalition together. You've got two holdouts in the Senate. How concerned are you that those holdouts over the next month just say, hey, the price tag's down a little bit. I can do that. It's only $1.5 trillion. Let's go. That seems to be the concern right now.
Yeah, I'm very concerned. I'm very concerned that no one is talking about the tax portion of this bill right now. So they're willing to drive down the number. And of course, that's a facade that Dagan already addressed. But what about the tax policy? Are we going to get rid of 1031 exchanges? Are we going to start taxing capital gains as ordinary income? Are we going to start monitoring every transaction over $600? So there's more to it than just the dollar amount. This is the big government socialism theme that I'm concerned about, as opposed to economic freedom and prosperity. But I'm telling you, there is a tidal wave coming out of America, out of those hardworking Americans who don't like vaccine mandates, and they don't like the policies of this federal government that are leading to inflation, as well as open borders and increased crime. All those issues that you all have been covering so very well.
Speaking of the vaccine mandates, Senator, the Biden administration is taking that next step for businesses with 100 or more employees to have them vaccinated or face regular testing. This comes as Boeing announces it will require all of its U.S. employees to get the shot by December 8th. It's 125,000 workers. You say Biden's vaccination decree is an all-out assault on our civil liberties. It might be unconstitutional based on what I've read, but what say you?
Well, certainly I do think a federal vaccine mandate is unconstitutional, and that's going to be tied up in the courts. But this White House owns this labor shortage, and this creed coming down from the White House is only going to make the labor shortage worse, creating national security issues in many instances as well. This White House and the CDC need to, first of all, acknowledge natural immunity. There are many, many studies out there that would say that natural immunity is better than vaccines alone. So we need to be talking about the immune versus non-immune, not the vaccinated versus the non-vaccinated. That would solve half of the labor issue problem right now. This is another crisis created by Joe Biden and his administration.
And I just want to look at the numbers real quick before you go on the percentage of Americans who have gotten vaccinated. I think at least of adults in America, it's at least 3/4 have gotten at least one shot. So why do you need a mandate to get like a minority of Americans vaccinated? That's the issue. It just, again, it's government overreach. Fear equals control, control equals power, and that's why a lot of these people get into this, no offense, grift in the first place.
Yeah, Dagan, and remember, so let's use your number and say 3/4 of adults are vaccinated. Of those people that are not vaccinated, half of them have natural immunity. So that leaves us with a very small amount. We should be right there at the precipice of herd immunity right now. We need the CDC to acknowledge herd immunity. And that we got this natural immunity.
78% of adult Americans 18 or over, 78% have gotten at least one shot. That's your fact. Senator Roger Marshall, great to see you this morning, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dagan.
Coming up, the rise